What's up guys, this is Brent with Western Equipment, and in this video I'm going to be telling you all about the John Deere 1023E. Now we'll start off here talking about the model number, as these can be kind of confusing because of all the different models that there are in the John Deere lineup. So on the 1023E, the first number we have is the 1, and this is going to be our series indicator. So this is in the 1 family of tractors in the John Deere lineup. Now as we move back, these last 3 digits when we're talking about tractors are going to be an indicator of horsepower. Now these are not always going to be exact, as on here we have a 23, but this tractor is actually only 21.5 horsepower, but these numbers here will get you close to the horsepower range that this machine is in. And then lastly, we have the E here. The E is going to be our trim level indicator, so that is going to indicate that this model is in that E trim level. Now, if you're familiar at all with John Deere tractors or John Deere equipment in general, you'll know that in most cases there is an E, an M, and an R trim level within these series of tractors. E being the most basic, M being sort of the mid-spec model, and then R being your most fully loaded. Next, let's go ahead and show you the engine compartment and all of the service points here on the engine, show you how to get into that and how to remove these side panels. So first thing that you're going to need is your key from your tractor or another key, whatever is most handy. And then right down here on the right front side of the hood, we're going to see a little circle here that has an indicator showing that this lifts the hood. So what we're going to need is to take that key, stick it up and into that hole, and we can pop that hood loose, and then that will open up the top of the hood. Now if we're needing to get into the engine bays here on the sides for service, what we're going to do first is we have these yellow tabs right here at the top, right here sort of towards the front before we get to our, or right as we get to our black housing here on the front of the engine. We're going to twist these back, pull this pin out, and then sort of pull this panel away and back towards the operator station, and that is going to allow this panel to come loose from the tractor just like that. And then we can do this actually on both sides. So we'll pull this other panel back, same thing here, twist and pull out on that yellow pin, pull back on that panel there, and then now you have your whole engine exposed. So over here on the left hand side, some of the things that you're going to see is going to be your alternator and your starter, and then also from right here, right on top of the engine, we are going to see our oil fill. We're also going to have our coolant overflow reservoir right here on top. And then also on top from here, we can also see our engine serial number if you were to ever need that. Now also right here on top is going to be our air filter, and with that side panel removed, you will be able to change this air filter right from the side. If you cannot get that completely open out, you can see there is a nut and bolt here on top where we can loosen this up, pull this air filter up and out to make that change easier. Now also right here in front, down below our lights here, is going to be our battery. We can see here that it's held in by a strap, and we also have good access right here to the back of our lights if we happen to need to change any of those lights. Now over here on the right hand side is where we're going to have access to such things as our oil filter, our oil dipstick, which is down here pretty low. It does have a yellow cap on it so you can see that, but your oil dipstick will be right there. Back behind it will be our fuel filter with a fuel shutoff valve. Now this is a very handy thing to have on these tractors to use sort of as an anti-theft method. Once you're done, if this machine's going to sit outside, you can simply turn that switch to off, and a lot of times that'll deter people from getting onto that tractor and being able to start it once you have that fuel off, or if they do get it started, they're not going to go very far. So just know that that there is available. But there guys, with those 2 panels exposed, you have everything to your engine compartment completely exposed, and also you're going to open up access to your fuse panel, which is right back here, right by your operator station. So the 1023E is a 3-cylinder, 21.5 horse direct inject diesel engine. Now, one thing that is going to be different about the 1023E than the 1025R and moving up into the 2 series is that this machine does not have the DPF filter or the diesel particulate filter. So it does not have that system on it where you'd have to wait for this machine to regen if that soot filter tractor gets filled up. You do not have that on this machine. Now, this 21.5 horsepower at the engine is going to correspond to 14.9 horsepower at the rear PTO, and this also is going to be equipped with a mid PTO as well, and I'll show more about how we can switch back and forth between those once we get here into the operator station. So here in the operator station, first couple of things I'd point out would just be the features for operator comfort. One is going to be that you do have the sliding seat here that does allow you to fit multiple different sizes of operators. Has a very good range there to make sure that you are able to reach the pedals on this machine no matter what size operator you are. You are going to have the solid mount steering wheel. Once you move up to the 1025R, you do get that adjustable steering wheel that can go up or down. And then also back behind me here, as you can see, we do have the rollover protection system. Now, this is very important whenever we're talking about being in the operator station. We want to make sure that if we're in any of those types of situations where we may be on an incline or on a hill, somewhere where this tractor could get unstable, we want to make sure and have this up, and then also have our seat belt on, which this machine does come equipped with a seat belt. So we want to make sure, have that on, have this rollover protection system up. And then if we do happen to have that turn over, that upset, overturn, rollover, whatever those situations may be, depending on which way the tractor is falling, we want to make sure that we are holding on, leaning away from the fall, let that machine complete the fall, and then go ahead and exit safely once that has done. So like we've seen there, seat belt, we do have the rollover protection system. Now I'll go ahead and start over here on my left. Now over here to my left, the first couple things you're going to see, for one, is going to be the diesel cap way back here to your left. Very easy to get to. Instead of being up on the hood, it is here at the rear. Next is going to be our PTO selector. So as we can see, if we have it pull all the way back as it indicates here on this sticker, we are going to be running our mid PTO, which you can see right here. And yes, the 1023E is equipped with that mid PTO to be able to run those belly mowers or those drive over decks. That way you can have that functionality with this piece of machinery. There used to be a big misconception that you had to have the 1025R to run those belly mowers, but that is not the case. You can do that with the 1023E. Now we can bump this lever one notch forward, and that way we're running our mid PTO and our rear PTO at the same time. Or we can push that lever all the way forward and only be running our rear PTO. Now, next above that is going to be our fuel gauge here, or you can easily see it. Look to your left, see how much fuel you have. And then right next to that is going to be our range selector here. Now, with these machines, you are going to have hydrostatic pedals right down here. There's going to be for forward and reverse. And then you have 3 gears here that you can choose from, which is going to be high, neutral, and low. So really just 2 driving gears, high and low here. Very easy to select between those. And then in front of that, we are going to have our height of cut selector knob. So this is going to be if we have that belly mower on the tractor, we can simply select that height right here at this knob, right here to your left, and then you will be able to change that height depending on whether we have that hooked up hydraulically to be ran here at the loader, or if we have a separate independent raise and lower valve, or if we're using our 3-point to raise and lower that deck, as you will have those 3 different options to raise and lower that deck. Now, right in front of that is going to be our brake and parking brake. So right there we have that pedal to push in, and then we have a lever right here in the middle that we can raise up to set that parking brake, and then to release that, we're simply going to push down. Now up here on the dash, a little bit more of a simplified dash because we do not have, like I said, the DPF system on this tractor. So normally we would have an extra switch here, but here on the dash to the left, we're going to have our light switch that we can turn from hazards to hazards and lights, and then just to lights. Then we're also going to have right above that, we will have our turn signal indicator where we can choose either left or right. Then of course our steering wheel here in the middle, and then our display here at the front, which is going to have our tachometer and our engine heat, along with a little computer screen that will tell us certain things, along with all of our different warning lights over here on the side. In the middle screen here mainly being our hour meter indicator. Next, we're going to have our PTO engage switch over here to the right. We can see that it is a 2-stage rocker system, so to turn it on, we're going to have to flip that switch on and then hold down, and then that will start the PTO. And then to turn it off, we simply turn it to the off position. So only pushing this up once is just going to activate the PTO, let it know that it is ready to start. And then once we hold down, that is what's going to actually turn that PTO on and get that shaft actually turning. Now over here to the right is going to be our throttle adjustment. One thing I like to point out is that, as we noticed over here on the left, that our gear selector has orange on it, and so does our throttle indicator here. So that helps you know that both of these levers do deal with the driving function. So right here we do have our throttle lever. Now over to our right, we have a few different things. We'll start down here at the floor. This is going to be our four-wheel drive engagement. So it would be down for four-wheel drive and up for two-wheel drive. We're also going to have our loader lever over here on the right. Very easy, just a normal loader lever here. And then next to that, we will have a lockout. So once you get that up, if you want to lock the hydraulics in place where that's not going to move in case you accidentally bump it, you can push in on your loader lock, and that will lock the joystick out to where it cannot be moved. Now, this is not actually locking the hydraulics. This is only locking the loader lever itself. So make sure to keep that in mind, that if your machine does seem to leak down from time to time, this will not keep that from leaking down. What this is going to do is just keep your loader lever locked in place. Now, right behind that is going to be our raise and lower for our 3-point arms. So right here we do have where we can raise this up, lower this down, but one thing that you'll notice is that there is no actual locking mechanism on this 3-point raise and lower. So that is one feature that you're missing out on the E trim level, is you do not have that lockout feature here for your 3-point. Now, one last thing that I did forget over here on the left-hand side is going to be our differential lock. It's going to be this little silver lever right down here, right there, easy for your foot to be able to push that down with your heel. What that's going to do is lock those rear differentials, lock those into place to where things will not be able to slip and spin as much. We're going to lock those two rear wheels in place where they're working together to hopefully get us out of that sticky situation. Now, lastly, over here on the right-hand side, we'll point out that we do have a dual mid valve on this machine here. Now, not all of these machines are going to come with the front end loader. This machine happens to be equipped with the 120R front loader, and I have done a video on how to attach and detach this loader. So if you want to go check that out, that is also on the channel. But you do have a set of dual mid valves here at the front for your hydraulics. Now, some of the other hydraulic features that you can add to this machine is you can add a third function to this. That'll change, not only will that add another valve here, but it'll also change out your knob here at the top and add an electronic control to be able to run a third function at the front. You can also add a Power Beyond kit to the rear. You can add a single set of valves to the rear, as well as a hydraulic hookup there at the back as well. So lots of versatility within this machine, lots going on here in the operator station. But from here, let's go ahead and move to the rear of the machine. So at the rear of this tractor, pretty simple setup here, going along with that E trim level. Everything is going to be pretty basic. You are going to have an SMV symbol that is attached here, slow moving vehicle symbol. You also will have a toolbox attached here at the back, and you will come with a top link along with your 3-point arms here on this Category 1 limited hookup. Now, what that means is a limited Category 1 means that since the stature of the machine is lower than a normal Category 1 machine may be, that this 3-point system is limited to certain attachments depending on the height and depth of those attachments. So you need to make sure when we're looking for rear implements here that we are looking for ones that will not only handle 14.9 horsepower here at the PTO, but also ones that will fit a limited Category 1 hookup. Now, also here at the rear with your 3-point arms, you are going to have these turnbuckles here on both sides to adjust the sway of these 3-point arms. They are going to be adjustable, as you can see here with this adjustment link and with an adjustable top link here. You are going to have a cover or shield here over your PTO shaft, and this is going to be a 540 PTO shaft. so you know that whenever we're hooking up implements, this is going to be for a 540. You're also going to have 2 holes here on this hitch plate to where you can go ahead and hook up rear implements. A drawbar is usually not going to be an option here on these machines, so you do have those 2 pins there. Now you can add certain accessories to add length a little bit to the back of this tractor, but mainly for the hitch purpose you have this hitch plate. And then also very important is we do have our hydraulic dipstick right here at the rear that we know this is here, so we can check that hydraulic fluid. Very easy to get to, very easy to see. Now, last but not least, let's talk about some specs and capacities of this machine. Starting out here with our diesel tank, you are going to have a 6.3 gallon tank. Whenever we're looking at our hydraulic reservoir, we're looking at 3.2 gallons in that hydraulic system. And then on our engine oil, we're looking at 2.9 quarts. Now, those are going to be good to know for your fluid capacities for whenever you're doing types of service with this machine or looking at fueling up here. Now, the other big question is on the rear, what type of lifting capacity we have. So at 24 inches behind the arms there, we're looking at 758 pounds. Now, that is a good amount of lifting capacity there at the rear, but one thing we need to keep in mind with these machines, with the 1023E all the way up to the 5, 6, 7, 8s, 9s, all of these different tractors, is that we always need to consider ballast. So with this machine here, having the 1020R loader on the front, we would already need to go ahead and look into ballasting this machine. So that would mean either such things as rear wheel weights, maybe a weight box there at the rear, and filling the tires full of fluid. Just make sure that whenever you're operating these machines, if we're talking about lifting in the rear or lifting in the front, if we do have that loader, that we are properly ballasted, as that is very, very important. But guys, overall, I hope this video helped you out. I hope you liked this video. If you did, we just ask you to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you need any type of John Deere parts, make sure to go check us out at 247parts.com. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hey guys, make sure to check out this cool video and this one. Buy your parts right up here and subscribe right here.